Scanning the future.
Hey, I'm Andy MacNeil. He's Nick Martin. Welcome to Future Files here on the DFO Fantasy and Betting YouTube channel. On today's episode, we're taking a look at Calder Trophy odds as the race is heating up. And it's quickly becoming a two-horse race. I mean, there are, a few players, 4 players in the mix right now. But it is very much beginning to look like it is a race between the current favorite, Macklin Celebrini of the San Jose Sharks, of course, last season's #1 overall pick, and Lane Hutson of the Montreal Canadiens, who has played a big role for that team in their playoff push this season. Celebrini currently is the favorite at -170. Hudson up next at +150. Dustin Wolf, goaltender for the Calgary Flames, at 16-1. And of course, Matvei Michkov of the Philadelphia Flyers. He's way down at 40-1. But they are the 4 players that are still in the mix for the award. But like I said, it's starting to become a two-horse race here as Lane Hutson currently leads all rookies in points with 53, assists with 48. He only has 5 goals, but that's pretty much what you would expect from a defenseman at this point in the season. Celebrini has played fewer games, 56 played compared to 67 for Michkov and 67 for Hudson. But he's got 50 points, leads all rookies in goals with 21 to go along with 29 assists. So let's talk about Celebrini a little bit, Nick, and I guess why won't he win the Calder Trophy at this point?
Yeah, I think this all just comes down to price, obviously, when we're looking at it from a betting perspective. With Hudson being here at +150, if I had a vote, I'd be extremely torn between Celebrini and Hudson. I think Celebrini's two-way play has been incredible. I think the more you watch him, it's shocking the battles he wins, how impactful he is all over the ice on top of his 50 points in 56 games. So, like I said, if I was a voter, I'd be having a tough choice. But I think when you look at it from a betting perspective, it's a little hard to see how Hudson is still +150. So, yeah, I really like Celebrini's game here. Super high on him, but this all just kind of comes down to where the current betting prices are at for me.
Yeah, I mean, just about a week ago, NHL.com polled their writers, and they came out with Hudson leading the way, 69 points, 6 first place votes. Macklin Celebrini was next with 66 points, 7 first place votes. Dustin Wolf of the Calgary Flames, 46 points, just 3 first place votes. And Matvei Michkov of the Philadelphia Flyers, and he had 41 points. I'm guessing no first place votes. So it definitely looks like Hudson is starting to climb up the ranks in terms of Calder Trophy voting. And you got to think if the Montreal Canadiens can keep this playoff push going and actually make the postseason, although it might not. Maybe it shouldn't factor into Hudson winning the Calder Trophy, but I think it will at the end of the day. Whether or not his play actually helps the Canadiens get into the playoffs in a season that nobody expected them to make the playoffs. I think that would go a long way in getting people to vote for him.
Yeah, for sure. I think if they make the playoffs, it's obviously going to help his case a lot, but I don't think they have to make the playoffs for him to win this. And he has been turning it on lately. Like since that vote, he's got 4 points in 3 games. The Habs are 2-0-1. So if anything, I think if you had those same guys vote tomorrow, he might be even further ahead. And we have seen how much the market you play in matters in award voting. And when I look at this race right now, like I said, my personal opinion is it's really close, but we're talking about Hudson being the guy who's +150 here and being in a more favorable market that is probably more likely to help him get the close vote that he needs. So, yeah, like I said, I think it's a lot closer than plus 150 suggests right now. I think the chances of Wolf, we've kind of talked about it. He looked a little long last week. Since that, though, he's been pulled for the first time since he was down in the AHL in 2023 and a big loss. The Flames aren't looking so good, and the win that they did get came with Vladar in the net. So I think I can see how he's kind of tailing off. And then, yeah, I think out of the skaters, Michkov's just way too far below Hudson and Celebrini. I think he's obviously been worse defensively than Celebrini, and he's still behind him in terms of points, having played more games. So I think the chances Michkov wins this thing are extremely low. I think he'd have to go on a ridiculous run production-wise. So yeah, I feel like between this with the skaters, it's really just Hudson and Celebrini. Wolf's kind of falling out of it. So when you really just dive into this, that it feels like you're getting a bet that's much closer to a coin flip than backing Hudson right now.
Yeah, it certainly seems like the Flames are falling apart. As we head into the last month of the NHL regular season. It was a great story, and it would have been a great story, and would still be a great story if the Flames were able to make the playoffs on the back of Dustin Wolf's play. I mean, he ranks fourth in goals saved above expected this season, according to Evolving Hockey. He saved the team more than 25 goals. Above what an average goaltender would have based on shot quality. So, in other words, the Flames wouldn't even be sniffing a playoff spot if it wasn't for his play. So, I think that definitely is the reason why he is still in the mix here. He's got 41 games played, 22 wins, 3 shutouts, a 2.62 goals against average, and a 912 save percentage. But as great as Macklin Celebrini has been, both offensively and defensively, I think once again you've got to look at the point totals here. And although Celebrini has played fewer games than Hudson, is a defenseman, a rookie defenseman at that, and he's been unreal offensively. So at this point, I think given what he's been able to accomplish, he would certainly get my vote if I had one, and therefore at plus 150, I think he has to be the best bet on the board right now.
Yeah, I think it's a great play. It's crazy to think that Michkov is probably going to end up off the ballots, not even getting a nomination for his rookie season, but it
Yeah.
looks like that's kind of the most fair result here. So yeah, definitely a really good race this year.
Yeah, and you mentioned, obviously Hudson playing in a big market like Montreal. People are watching him, even if they aren't, necessarily Montreal Canadiens fans. More of the media is getting to watch what Lane Hudson is doing. People aren't staying up to watch the San Jose Sharks on most nights. Not only are they a West Coast team with some late starts, if you're, in an Eastern region, they're the worst team in the NHL this season. So there really isn't much reason outside of Macklin Celebrini to watch this San Jose Sharks team.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think that would work in favor of an argument towards Celebrini if you're talking pure value to the team, because I think Hudson's production has been helped by how good Caulfield and Suzuki and some of the Habs have been. But that's not typically the kind of nuance we see go into these votes. And like we talked about, there was that NHL writers poll last week, and Hudson was already in front prior to a really good stretch of play. So yeah, I think we've got a good look here.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nick and I are both on the same page here. Lane Hudson at plus 150, great Calder Trophy bet at this point in the season. Maybe he should even be the favorite right now, considering how the voters are thinking about this one as we head into the last month of the regular season. The Habs, as of Wednesday, March 19th, are in the second wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. And like I said, if they can keep that up, I think that's going to help Hudson's chances, whether it should or not. But that does it for today's episode of Future Files. Tune in to a new episode of the Puck Portfolio right here on the DFO Fantasy and Betting YouTube channel on Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll be back with the Puck Portfolio next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And of course, Future Files on Wednesday. But until then, good luck with your bets and gamble responsibly.